Oh, going in, you're gonna raw dog this one, right? You're not eating
raw.
Just gonna go in it raw. All right. Let me start since I'll start because I got a microphone. So we'll just let me do it.
Sure. You should probably talk the most.
No, I don't want to. I don't feel like I'm bored already.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Episode 89 of the Play Pants Podcast. Rod, Ryan, Jason, Ginty fired up. Rod is not using headphones. And what happens if you've never watched this on our YouTube channel, which, by the way, you can, Play Pants Pod on YouTube, is you put on some headphones, you got yourself a microphone, and it runs through some gear at each of our home studios, and then it all, through magic of some sort that I haven't figured out yet, it works. Well, Rod's got some gear trouble over there, so he's just going to raw dog it. So if his audio sounds a little different on this episode, shit happens. What can we do? Right, Rod? I mean, what are we going to do? We're just going to go with it.
How bad does it sound? Bad? Awful?
I mean, people are going to listen. It's all right. I'll just do the talking. Okay. How about there? You just sit there and look funny. What kind of headphones are those? You just busted out some old 70s. Does that have a radio in those headphones?
Yeah, dude. So they're called AirMates. I've actually got a cooler one than this. It must be my other cabinet, but yeah, this is what people used to listen to, like portable radios. If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, you had the little tuner right here and you can listen to the radio.
Okay. Obvious question. Do those work? Do those really work? So could you bust out, like you're walking around Houston, you could be just listening to your station? And
I could walk around and listen to the buzz with these. Yeah, these ones work. And then the other ones, I got another pair. I'll bust them out in a little bit. But yeah, sorry guys. This is the best I can do with the microphone. So there's been some storms here in Houston. And I remember the point last weekend sitting here and the power went and it came back and I had nothing happen in my house except apparently my fucking board fried out. So that's awesome.
And apparently you've been doing no work in the whole week, so you haven't had a chance to test it out. So
no, you know what? As a matter of fact, I've been working on the computer, but you're right. Yeah, I've done nothing like that I needed to do on that shit.
That's what it is. Well, but how would you know? Like, my shit sits here. I literally get up after this is done every week and walk away and don't touch any of this shit for another week. So I can see what could happen. Anyway, we got a lot of shit to cover today, man. First of all, I want to get into dumb shit some rock stars have said over the years. Some really dumb shit. I don't know if you saw this. Most pretentious things some of our favorite rock stars have said.
No, I've not seen this list at all.
It's just kind of goofy, but I want to get some thoughts on that. The movie Reservoir Dogs. Okay, we're Tarantino fans. It's all we ever talk about on this podcast, besides the Foo Fighters, Kiss, and Van Halen, is Quentin Tarantino. And Reservoir Dogs. Rod, I want to get your thoughts on the movie, and I want to explain something that I did over the weekend with Reservoir Dogs. We'll get into that. And then you sent me something about, what is it, National Donate Blood Day, the day of this recording?
I did send you some stuff. Thanks for looking at it. World Blood Donor Day.
That's it. I remember this.
And apparently the date is kind of like on the day that the guy kind of figured out how to do like blood transfusion. So every year, June 14th, Blood Donor Day, and I'm a blood donor. It's an important thing. Mm-hmm. So I sent over to you. I said songs with the word blood in the title, or if the song is about blood, there's a chance that it's going to be in the title. But if you have some song that is just totally they're talking about blood the whole time and it's not in the title, it'll go. But I couldn't believe how many I came up with on this one.
Really? Because I struggle a little bit. Of course.
I didn't struggle at all on this one.
Really? Okay. I think our lists will be, I'm just going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say we're going to have two of the same songs, and then it's going to be different after that. I'm going to say we're going to have two of the same on our lists.
Yes.
I think there's two obvious, and there's some wildcats in there, and there's a few that didn't make my list, but we're good. So we'll run down our top five favorite songs about blood. and as soon as you said it, I went, yes, because it's different. It's unique. It's weird. It's bizarre. And we'll do that. And then I just happened to be looking at some shit today, and this came across. I don't know if you saw this. I busted out, since this is what we do for a living, radio. This is for the week ending June 10th. Oh, shit. June 10th, 1995. This is the charts, the modern rock chart. June 10th, 1995. Now, we've talked about the best years of music before. 91. We've said 97 is good. I just want to run down some of the lists. This is what you and I in 1995 would have been looking at to figure out what kind of music to play on our radio stations. Okay. 1995. Listen to this shit. This is how crazy this chart was. The number one song in 1995 on the alternative rock charts was Soul Asylum's Misery. Remember that song?
Yeah. Great song.
Nobody plays it anymore. Somehow that one disappeared off the face of the earth. Number 2, Collective Soul, December. People are still playing that.
Okay.
Number 3, Better Than Ezra. Good. Okay, 95. Think about that time. Those guys were up in Buffalo when we were working in Buffalo. Remember they came in, you interviewed them. Good was a monster. That was number 3. Bush, Little Things at number 4. Live, All Over You at 5. Green Day, She at 6. Matthew Sweet, Sick of Myself.
Oh.
Elastica, Connection. I mean, listen to this fucking list. This is great shit. White Zombie, More Human Than Humans in there. Sponge, Molly, 9 Inch Nails, Hurt. 1995 was a sick year for music. Mad Season, River of Deceit, Filter, Hey Man, Nice Shot. Dude, 95 was pretty badass. I just want to throw that at you because that's when we were just cracking the code and doing some. That's when we first got our jobs, was in 95, right? Wasn't it 95, 96? Ish. So that time, that's what we were listening to. That was the heat of the moment when you and I really kind of got going in alternative radio. It's crazy.
Well, we get hired in Buffalo in 95?
I believe it was 95. Yeah. Because then by September 96, we're here in New Orleans. Well, we moved to New Orleans.
Yeah. Foo Fighters 95, right? Foo Fighters debut album?
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been I'll Stick Around. Yeah, the other song I can't think of right now. Anyway, but yeah, I just thought I'd run down that. This is a call. Yeah, those are the 2 songs. And I remember distinctly them coming in and going, hey, this is the drummer from Nirvana. He's got a band. It's the Foo Fighters. And everyone is just kind of like, oh, okay. All right, I see what's going on here. The drummer from Nirvana is going to try and do something. Okay, cool. And we all kind of blew it off. I remember everyone just kind of going, that's nice. And then obviously we were all fucking wrong. Way wrong. The second we heard it, we're like, holy shit, is that good?
It's a pretty great year. I mean, as a program director, how many songs, I know it's not even a week anymore, but if you were to add new music on your radio station, would it be a couple songs a month? Would it be a couple songs a week? How would that work now? I really don't know the answer to this question.
You know, it's very, very strange because usually I'm good for maybe 1 a week, maybe.
And is there still something as an official ad, like we're adding this record into rotation so that it helps it to, this is what they do when they keep track of the charts and everything. This is what they did back in the day. I'm sure it's still done this way, but I just been out of that game for such a long time. So is it an official ad or you just decide to start playing something?
I just start playing it. That's kind of the company policy for the company I work for. And then, of course, after a few days, everyone gets it. They start seeing what they call spins. There's a service called BDS and MediaBase that charts every time you play a song. And then you start adding to the aggregate of all the spins, and that goes into your charts, right? So I'm good for like maybe 1 a week, and then sometimes none. I'll go a few weeks with none. The last 3 weeks, I've not done shit. I've not moved any of the music because what we got right now is pretty solid out there. We got some good shit. You got the Linkin Park, you got the new Foo Fighters. I mean, there's a lot of really solid music right now.
So the year that you had mentioned, 1995, 96, I'm starting to get into being a music director, 96, 97, 98. So I'm the music director. So I'm going through all the charts. I'm dealing with the record labels and everything. Dude, we're adding 4 and 5 songs a week.
Well, you saw the list.
There was so much good stuff that was just coming out. And this is, dude, a week we were adding, a slow week would be adding 3 songs.
Yep.
Just absolutely crazy. There was just this pool of 25 songs at all time that was being in consideration for to get radio airplay on the stations. And there was just so much music. There was so much great stuff. It really was. And it was fun. It was great. I mean, we all loved and lived the music and stuff, but you didn't think about the day that it was going to go away. And unfortunately, the good old days don't feel like that while you're in them. You don't realize they're the good old days until you're, 20 and 30 years removed from it.
You know what? I think though, we didn't recognize what was happening because we're so in it. You're so up your own ass in the middle of all that shit. We're trying to do radio. We're trying to start careers, make money, the whole thing, New City, and the music was great. I mean, we were lucky as shit. And we've talked about that on this podcast before, how like we walked into it all at the perfect time. You get lucky in life, but you have to make your own luck. It's funny because when you say you're adding 4 or 5 songs a week back then, something has to be removed to add the new. And nowadays, a lot of stuff will go up the charts and then it goes away and you never hear it again. It doesn't stick. It doesn't go to what we call your gold library, right? You're playing the gold. You're playing the Nirvanas, the Pearl Jams, all the old shit. That's called your gold library. Most of the shit now that we play doesn't stick. Back then, you just heard me run down that list of songs. I know my station's still probably playing. Of all the songs I just mentioned, there's like 2 that we're not playing on a regular basis. Most of those songs we're still playing, and I'm sure you guys are playing most of those as well in your gold library. Things didn't stick around today like they do back then. That music was staying on your radio station.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it really was fun. You're right. I mean, we've kind of gone in, and I've just like been blown away when we've done like featured years and things. And when you're hitting that sweet spot, from 94 to 2000, holy shit, man. I mean, it's not that there wasn't great music in other eras, but there was just so much great music coming at us nonstop. And that, again, that's when the music that we liked was the most popular music in the country.
Yeah.
It was the most popular music. Right now, pop music and rap music is the most popular music. But for a while, that alternative stuff, that's what everybody was listening to, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, and what you had too back then was your top 40 station used to be like the top station in your market back in that time period. There was a lot of alternative stations beating the top 40s in that era. Late 90s, early 2000s. Alternative stations would end up beating your top 40s because that was the shit. That was the cool station. I didn't want to go down this road very long because we've done it before, but I just want to throw out that list. I just happened to come across today. I'm like, Jesus, look at all these freaking songs, man. It's incredible.
It's 2023, and I know an alternative station that's beating a top 40 station right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It ain't in New Orleans yet. We're getting there, baby. We're getting there here in New Orleans. Dude, so over the weekend, I did something and it wasn't my idea. And I thought, man, I've been dying to do this for a few years, but I knew I have to wait till the right moment, right? And we're talking about like it's hot as fuck outside. You're not doing anything. It's so hot. So my wife.
You finally shaved your balls.
I haven't done that in a while. I gotta be honest. I haven't done that in a while. So okay. I don't want to really talk about that. But so my wife's like, we got to start. We should start watching different movies with our son, Henry, right? He's going to be 15 in a couple of months. Great. So she's like, I was talking to some friends and like Tarantino, I know how you're a huge fan and I'm a huge fan. And that's the fucking gold right there. So I'm like, I don't know, man, that's some fucked up shit. And I'm like, man, the violence and stuff. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? You watch all those dumb superhero movies, all the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Thors and all that shit. That is a shit ton of violence. Now it's cleaned up. There ain't blood everywhere. But it's beating the shit out of each other for 4 hours in those movies. And he's seen a lot of other movies like that. I'm like, you know what? And so then we talked about, okay, well, which Tarantino film should we start him with? So we kind of went Kill Bill. I'm like, it's pretty fucking brutal, And I'm like, well, he's not going to get the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood shit. And I'm like, Pulp Fiction, no way. That's way too fucked up. Where do we start? So my wife's like, well, why don't we start him at the beginning and let him take the journey? I'm like, Jesus, Reservoir Dogs, man, that's like shot in a basement. It when you watch it, it looks old. You know what I mean? It feels old. The music he's not gonna get, all the shit that goes on in that movie. I go, yeah, but he's pretty savvy. He gets shit. I'm like, okay. So I sat down with my 14-year-old and I watched fucking Reservoir Dogs, dude. And I was like, then I didn't realize that there's a lot of sucking dicks and shit. I'm like, oh, fuck. I forgot about those parts of the movie.
You're talking about the language. Oh, yeah, the language in it is
Swearing.
awful. They don't show that, but they say it nonstop.
Right. It's the anecdotes and stuff. And again, swearing, yeah, believe me, he's heard all the words. Trust me, in this house, he's heard them. You know, he doesn't say them ever, but he's heard them. But then, and it got me thinking. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, he's talking about sucking a dick and Madonna taking it deep and all this shit like a virgin, that whole anecdote in the beginning of the movie. And I'm sitting there and I'm just fucking cringing on the couch next to my son.
Are you giggling during it at all? Are you like, hey, is it funny? Like, or are you guys just sitting there laser focused going, oh my God, would you please stop saying suck dick right now?
I kind of am just going, I've made a horrible error.
Okay.
So, but here's my point about this part of the situation is, next thing you know, there's gunshots, there's fucking blood. Orange is just sitting in a pool of his own blood. They're cutting off ears. I mean, it's pretty fucking violent. You think I worried about any of that shit? No, it's the sucking of the dicks and a couple other references. That's what's fucked up. Well, as a society, we're more concerned about that than the killing and the violence. We are fucked up as a society, man.
I'm worried about him being triggered when he hears "stuck in the middle with you," and he immediately goes back to, what is it, Mr. Blonde?
Mr. Blonde cutting.
Just carving that dude's ear off and dancing. So, I mean, I mean, what did he say?
Okay. This is part B of the conversation. So we're watching a movie and I'm just kind of listening. I've seen the movie 90 times. I don't need to watch it again. And it's still great, by the way. And so I'm kind of listening to him and I'm kind of peeking at him, watching him, seeing what he's doing. And he's paying attention. He's dialed in. He's watching. He's not getting the Madonna references and some of the pop culture shit. And that's okay. The tipping part, he kind of laughed at that. He thought that was funny. The world's smallest violin bit, the whole thing. So he's laughing. He's chuckling at that because those are good, funny bits. And then, like, they start flashing back to where the guys get their names and all the bullshit. And he's like, he's like he's piecing it all together because it jumps around in time. When fucking Michael Madsen gets up and starts dancing, right? Because he thought Mr. Blonde was the coolest. As soon as he showed up, like when he's sitting on the roof or on the hearse in the warehouse, and he's sucking on the drink. And it's like, are you gonna bite, little puppy dog, or are you gonna bark, or are you gonna bite? That whole classic line. My son starts laughing his ass off. I'm like, oh shit, he's into fucking Mr. Blonde. Oh no, what's gonna happen with the ear? So he's fucking Mr. Blonde is dancing around. He's got the knife and the gas, and my son is laughing. He's fucking laughing at Mr. Blonde dancing with the knife. He's laughing. And he goes over and they do the whole ear cutting off. And then he holds it up and he's swinging it around. And my son is pissing his pants laughing. I'm like, holy fuck, I've got to
Wait a minute, he laughed through the whole thing.
He thought it was fucking hysterical. He's like, holy shit, he's cutting his ear off. He didn't say shit. He goes, whoa. I think he was shocked. But he was laughing because it was so ridiculous, I guess. I don't know. And he's just kind of like, holy crap. And then, the whole thing, and he's laughing like where you're supposed to laugh. He thought it was funny. When Orange shoots, spoiler alert, by the way, when Orange shoots Michael Madsen, Mr. Blonde, he's laughing. He's like, oh shit, he just shot him. Like, because Quentin Tarantino writes those things in a way to be funny. He's making the violence funny. And
yeah, but still,
it's fucking brutal.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, he loved it. He's like,
whoa. Wait. Hang on a second. He loved it, or he's like, it's pretty cool.
Well, he thought it was pretty cool. And he's like, I get what you guys always talk about, this director or whatever. He doesn't get the Tarantino thing, but he's like,
because I know that Henry likes the superhero stuff and the pacing of those movies compared to Even if you went back, wonder what he would think if you watched I don't know, would you ever like show him like Rambo or like Arnold Schwarzenegger True Lies or anything like that?
I guess maybe. I mean, I never really got into Rambo, but you go back to Indiana Jones. It's a slower pace, but he loves that. The original one. He gets it. And yes, he's probably like, all right, we get it. Let's go. Let's move forward. But he got the references. He dug the story. He loves how they built it all together. Like he gets movies, and it's and the whole time just going, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I fucking doing? Is this too soon? Is this too soon? And I'm like, nah, he's already he's going to high school. I'm like, he's exposed. It's too late. But yeah, he
Now,
dug
would
it.
he turn the corner away from you guys? With his buddies? It's like, what are you sucking a dick over there? Like, I mean, would he bust that shit out like to his pals?
I would hope so. I mean, that's what you would do. That's what I did. That's what he's probably doing. I don't know. That's between him and his friends, dude. I mean, what as a parent, it's a weird fucking thing. You send them out into the wild. What do you know what they're doing? You don't. It's fucked up. And I'm sure people are like, I can't believe you showed your 14-year-old fucking Reservoir Dogs. I will say my kid, maybe it was a mistake, but he got it. He got it. He understood it. He knew what was happening. He gets it.
Did you get a feeling of, hey, Dad, when's the next one? What are you going to show me next? Or was it like, hey, I'll go back to doing what I do?
Yeah, he's not exactly climbing the walls for the next one, but he'll watch. If I say, okay, well, the next one is this, he'll be like, all right, let's do it, But we brought him along slowly and carefully with anything like that, music and other movies, It's like, after you watch, you got to think about this era of kid, someone who's in their teens right now. They have had really a mini golden age of film. You think about all the Pixar shit, all the Toy Stories and the Nemos, and maybe it's a little bit older than that. But then you got all the Thors and the Iron Mans and that whole thing. I mean, that's some of the best shit out there as far as cinema and cool for kids. He's grown up. That's what he knows. He's grown up in a pretty fucking great era of movie watching, And then if you throw in some older shit, Lion King and all that stuff, it's like, wow, everything's awesome. So, I mean, these kids now, they got some good shit out there.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if he's going to be bugging you to say, hey,
where's Kill Bill?
Let's go do that again, man. That was awesome, man. I want to see the next thing. I want to see more from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there. It'll be a slow walk, We're not going to dive right back into it, but yeah, it just was weird, and like, again, it's weird how like I was more uncomfortable with the two different references to sucking dicks and all that shit than I was the murder, the shooting, the crime. I'm like, what the fuck, and it just got me thinking, like, man, we are fucked up. This backwards.
Maybe you could, Father's Day's coming up. Maybe you could sit around. I've got some old VHSs of Faces of Death. Maybe you could watch them and crack that monkey's skull open and then eat his brains. You want to sit down with Henry and watch that?
Nah, there's no story there. We kind of.
I mean, if you don't borrow the tapes, I might end up watching it with London. So maybe
Well, that's your future, dude. Like, you got to figure out when is the time that is right for certain things in your child's life, right? And my wife brought it up, and I'm like, I was the guy. And it's weird because most people would assume I'm the guy that's going to push for that. And I was like, man, I don't know. That's a lot, dude. And she's like, well, fuck, man, he's been watching all these other movies. Jesus, what's the difference? I'm like, well,
you do kind of want to time that stuff out. So it was last year. Tessa came over here, my co-host, and she was hanging out with London for an hour or two. And I came home and The Wizard of Oz was on, and I was like, too soon, man, too soon. You don't want to show somebody something, introduce them to something, and they're not ready for it yet.
Right.
At some point, I mean, I think all little kids think Wizard of Oz is awesome. And I think you got to kind of find that right spot to like kind of jump in. It's a little different having an only child because, you get introduced to stuff and by older siblings and things. But when you got that only child, it's kind of up to us when, you're going to introduce them to it. And I know that's Tessa's favorite movie. And London was 4. I said, nah, man, it's too soon. It's too soon. You don't want her to watch something and then just think it's not cool and then not want to watch it again. So I haven't really put it on for her since. It's been a year. I don't know where that Wizard of Oz window is, because you're worried about a Quentin Tarantino movie being old. This fucking thing's from the 40s.
Yeah. But it's got its place, I mean, you've still got that whole ride. I mean, I don't know how far you are when all the Pixar, the Toy Stories. If you watched all 5 of those, are you guys the Nemos of the world? Have you already done all those, or is that still?
We have. It's funny, Aunt Sue loves Nemo, and she's constantly trying to get London to get into Nemo, and it's not her jam. It's not her jam. I would like to sit down and watch Finding Nemo. And, we've watched Moana a million times. And obviously every kid goes through. I mean, where was Henry on the Let It Go, Snow Queen? What is it called? Frozen. So where was he when Frozen was out?
He was, God, he was young.
Because Frozen's older.
Yeah. No, he was fairly young, and we went and saw it. I'm thinking, well, how bad can it be? And he, and at 6 or whatever age he was, it wasn't very old. He's like, oh man, I don't want to go see that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And we're very careful about nah, man, it's all good. You can watch a girly ass movie. It's totally fine. And I don't say it like that to him, but you get the idea. And we went and saw it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a great fucking movie, man. I'm tearing up during Let It Go. The first time I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, girl power and shit. And he's just like, yeah, that was pretty cool. It's okay. So then it comes out on, 3 months later, 6 months later, it's on, cable or whatever. So my wife's like, hey, you want to watch Frozen again? He's like, nah, I'm out.
Okay. Yeah.
So he didn't necessarily like it, and he's honest about it, but he saw it, and he thought it was cool. It was fine. It just wasn't his thing,
My kid definitely identified, and careful how you say these things, because everyone's going to say, well, in this day and age, go fuck yourself. I didn't push my kid into princesses and wanting princesses dresses and mermaids. I didn't push my kid into that. That's what she gravitated towards. It's like, you want to watch Frozen? Okay, let's watch Frozen. Well, guess what? She wants a Frozen dress. She wants Frozen toys. She wants all that shit. Then it was Moana, and and then it was Rapunzel. So it's these female lead characters that were very attractive to her. And it wasn't until a little bit later that there's a movie. I guess it's an only Disney Plus. It's Luca, and I don't remember it ever being out at the theaters. But it's primarily dudes, and she really, really liked it. But before that, she was identifying with these princesses for sure.
Yeah. But what's great about it is those are all movies with very strong females in it. So it's not like you don't watch Barbie and shit where it's like, oh, just dopey bullshit. You know what I mean? This is okay in my opinion, and I've seen them. I got nieces. My son's been subject to that shit back in the day. So yeah, anyway, it gets weirder, man, because and as you get older, you're like, oh, is this time for this movie? Can we do the PG thing? Years ago, the same problem, but it was different. He was younger. We were looking for a movie that was like, fuck, what are you going to watch? After a while, you run out of movies. You do. So we're looking at, and we were talking about Big, Tom Hanks, right? That movie's funny. A little kid trapped in a man's body. I'm like, oh, shit, he could relate to that. That would be a kind of a funny thing. And he's probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9. Yeah, well, PG back then meant something different than PG today. And we learned the hard way that like, oh, shit. There's a couple things in that movie that aren't exactly ready. PG was different back then.
Has he seen Jaws?
Not yet, actually. No, which is weird because he loves to surf and all that shit. I'm afraid it's gonna fuck him up.
Bro, I was 5.
Oh, jeez.
I saw it in the theater when it came out, 75. It came out in the summer of 1975. I'm 5 years old. I probably told this story already 100 times, but my mom took my sister to the movies, and then my dad took me to the Riviera, North Tonawanda.
Right.
And I remember getting home, and my dad was so pissed. It's like the kid went pissed 13 times. My dad didn't see any of the movie. Every time I heard, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. I was so afraid, and I begged to go to the movies. I begged, and my dad was so pissed. He had to take me to the potty. What he said 13 times. 5 years old seeing Jaws.
It might have been bad.
Now, I know you guys spend a lot of time at the beach. Are you keeping that from him? Does he know about it? Does he know what it is?
Oh, yeah. He totally knows. In fact, we've seen, there's another shark movie called The Meg. It's not bad. He's seen that a couple of times. So he doesn't give a shit. He gets sharks. Okay. That's very rare that humans get attacked. So he doesn't really think about that.
But I just wonder, would that fuck a kid up now? Or was that just us in the 70s? You know?
I don't know. I guess maybe it would.
Why don't you make that your next movie?
We probably will, because it's summertime. It's like we go to the beach. I'm like, yeah, Jaws has got to be on our list. You know, we've been slowly introducing the old classics, and some of it works, some of it doesn't hit. It's because of the pacing and the slowness. A lot of that shit is like, Jesus, what are you guys doing back then? I'm like, well, we had nothing else to do. It was kind of cool with the pacing being slower back then.
Oh my God, I love Jaws. There was a Jaws toy that we had. I mean, I was obsessed. Even though it's the same thing when we talked about Kiss. I was afraid of them, but I loved them.
Right.
Jaws, I was so afraid. We wouldn't go in our pool. We had an 18-foot round pool. Jaws is fucking 25 feet. My dad's like, get in the goddamn pool or I'm tearing it down. That's a 25-foot shark. It's an 18-foot pool. He won't fit. Get in there. We didn't want to swim.
Yeah. No, I was the same, man, because I remember swimming too, and I'm like, looking around like, all right. I'm always afraid because, like, you know, you close your eyes underwater, and I'm always afraid if I open them, there's a fucking shark mouth right there waiting for me.
Yeah.
That movie really got in people's heads, man. Like, believe me, I get out there in the ocean, and I love swimming in the ocean. I have no problem with it, but I'm only going to go so deep. You ever see those guys who go way the fuck out, and you're like, why are you way out there? That's dumb. That's where the sharks are. You know what I mean? Don't go out there, you idiot. You're going to fucking be a snack. You know, stay in where you at least get a fighting chance to get to shore before they fucking eat your face. So, Rod, it's World Blood Donation Day.
World Blood Donor Day. You can do it.
Yeah, I will. I have donated in the past quite a few times, actually. And I never used to like the old blood thing. You know, and even when I go to just get, to the doctor to get the blood drawn, I won't look. I don't enjoy it. I look away. I'm like, yeah, okay, go ahead. That's it.
They'll see me wince a little bit. They're like, come on, with all these tattoos. I'm like, I don't care. Drawing blood, it's weird. To look at it, it's weird.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy it. And then when you get some other things tested, they got to take a couple extra vials. I'm like, shit. I'll tell you though about the giving of the blood because I go to the testosterone place. So they got to do every
because you got too much. Is that the problem, Rod? You got to get some of that drained off.
Yeah, I go to the testosterone place to get some drained out of me. So, did you know that a person that sticks you is a phlebotomist?
I have heard that. Yes.
Okay. I learned that during the pandemic when I heard an interview with Josh Todd, the lead singer of Buck Cherry. He became a phlebotomist, and he was doing that for work. Nobody was making any money during the pandemic if you were in a band.
Wow.
So I didn't know this. I'll tell you what, there's a gal over at the testosterone place, Centergenics, who inquired about possibly sponsoring this podcast. She absolutely is an angel with a needle in her hand. It's unbelievable how she finds the vein. There's people that are good at it, and there's people that blow at it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how good she is at it. It's just like butter. And then you got some people that's like, ah.
Yeah, they get like a running start, with a javelin.
Yeah.
From across the room. You're like, oh, what the hell, lady? Easy.
Yeah, no, giving blood's a great thing. I'll leave it at that. If you can, you should.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good thing. Every year on June 14th, World Blood Donor Day raises awareness and to the importance of donating blood. And that's always the first thing that we tell people on the radio when the shit hits the fan in some area. Like, man, what can I do right now? I go, believe it or not, give blood.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, give blood. That's a huge thing that you can do right now. There's times when the blood bank will, put out like an APB to all the media. It's like, man, we are so unbelievably low right now. We need help. So that's it. That's the PSA on that. So World Blood Donor Day. I asked Jason, I said, what about some blood songs?
I'm like, yeah.
I just started writing and writing and writing and writing.
Jesus.
Yes. There's so many great ones.
All right. Well,
Great songs.
Let's go through our top 5. But first, I want to tell you about the Rod Ryan Show Cares store. It's back online. You want a badass shirt like the one Rod is showing right now? It says HOU. It's very cool. I'm assuming that means Houston.
Yeah. Doesn't that look a little like the STP logo?
It's cool. I like it. Oh, yes. Wow. Nice job stealing that. I mean, tributing to the STP logo. I like that. This got the ringer shirt, and ringer shirts. I don't know. I always like the old school 70s ringer shirts. Man, those are badass. So go to the Rod Ryan Show Care store. Back online, all new summer merch, including the HOU STP tribute shirt. They got koozies, they got stickers, they got a bunch of cool stuff, man. Rod's doing some great work here, raising money to purchase backpacks for kids in the Houston area who obviously need them, and they're working again with the Houston Children's Charity, trying to outdo last year. In between getting the testosterone drained out of his veins, he's going to try and beat $101,000 and passing out over 3,500 filled backpacks. Safe, secure shopping now on the world famous Rod Ryan Show page at thebuzz.com. Very cool shirts, dude. I do like them, and I will be doing some shopping. Stores open for a while, I'm hoping, because I haven't done it yet today, and I won't be doing it tonight. But this weekend, I'm going to do some shopping, dude. I need some new shirts. I do. Yeah. I got to get some damn new shirts, and why not help out a pal for a good cause and get to that 101. Woof, that's a lot of money, $1,000. Damn, dude, you're crazy, but that's awesome. Great work right there. So I had a little issue with these blood songs. I got to be honest. At first, I'm like, And you know, when you're on the clock, it's like, you know, when you watch Jeopardy at home, you're like, I'd kill. But then when you get put on the hot seat, someone asks you a question, you're like, you go blank. I kind of did that with this list until I started cheating and doing a little research.
I ran it by a few people at the station, and I just said, "Hey, give me a blood song, a song with blood in the title." And it wasn't easy for people. I mean, Sunday Bloody Sunday.
That's a good one.
And then Bad Blood, Taylor Swift.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what else I heard in the hallway, but it wasn't. I mean, you're on the spot, you know. It's like, I think we've done maybe fire. I think we've maybe done the sun. We've done some different other themes, which I really, really like this. I love doing these theme lists.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I mean, the material is great. The fucking songs are great. It's awesome to write a song about blood. There's great songs about blood.
Yeah, there is. There's some really good ones. And I didn't even get into like the weird, like deep cuts from probably like, I'm sure Rob Zombie's got songs about blood. I didn't really dig into the deep cuts on any of the Rob Zombie or the Marilyn Manson shit. I kind of didn't go there. I just went for normal-ish songs and bands. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. I don't think I've gone first in a while. Very difficult to put this list together. My favorite Linkin Park song is "Bleed It Out."
Damn, that's a good song too. I like that.
I think it is my favorite Linkin Park song. Mike Shinoda sings most of it, you know, and he's not so much even rapping it. He really sings on that.
Yeah.
Him and Chester are just absolutely brilliant on it. I'm not a lyric guy, but pull the pin and the grenade and make it a dirt dance floor again. And fuck, I mean, it's like Mike Shinoda is an awesome lyricist as well.
Right.
I think, I mean, I know Crawling and those are like the biggest Linkin Park songs. If you had aliens come to this planet and they said, well, what's this Linkin Park thing? That's a song you could play them and say, oh, that's Linkin Park. I think it's just a great representative of the band. In at number 4, Concrete Blonde, Bloodletting, the vampire stripper song.
That's so good. Such a good song.
That song has come up before. Did we do vampire songs or something? Or
I don't.
I brought Concrete Blonde up before on this show, and unless we did a list about stripper songs, it's a great stripper song.
It might have been a New Orleans song because they do mention going down to New Orleans
yes.
a bunch of times in the
so
song.
It's a New Orleans song, and it clearly is a blood song. Bloodletting is the name of the song. If it's a great stripper song. Stripper song.
That might have been it.
In at number 3, my favorite Blue October song, Bleed Out.
Okay. I don't know that one. Let's check that
out.
Oh,
my God. It's so great. It's written from the standpoint of the wife. He's singing it, but it's the words that his wife is saying to him. And it's just, it really is. Justin Furstenfeld is a great singer. He's an amazing lyricist. He's an amazing singer. It's my favorite Blue October song, Bleed Out, number 3.
Okay.
Number 2, If You Want Blood, AC/DC.
I didn't. That's a good one.
Bon Scott, baby. Bon motherfucking Scott.
Damn, that's good. That's good.
Do you remember Empire Records?
Yeah, the movie, right? Yeah. Liv Tyler was in it.
And the dude that runs the store, he goes, shuts the door, he's playing the drums, and then the guy's singing, and they're dancing, and they're kind of like lip syncing it in the back room.
Yep.
If You Want Blood, you got it. AC/DC in it too. And number 1, I had to, man. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Nice.
Black Sabbath. Number 1. I knew it was going to be on my list. I listened to it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, fuck, number 1. What is number? I'm like, I put it on, the guitar hits. I'm like, fuck.
That wins.
What's going to be a better blood song than that?
Yeah. Actually, that's pretty damn good, actually.
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Okay, so I said at the beginning of the podcast that we'll have 2 songs. I thought we would have 2. We had 1. We have one. We only have 1 duplicate on our list, and you'll probably be surprised at which one it is. Damn, that's a good list. So, wow, this is crazy. All right, number 5 for me. There's this great band out of New Orleans. They haven't done anything recently, but back, mid 2000s, like 2010, 2011, 2012, there's this band called Mute Math, and they had some national hits. Right? They got a great song called Blood Pressure. Fucking great. It's badass. Mute Math, Blood Pressure. It came out in 2011. Check it out. It's fucking great.
I know bands hate this, but we're not asking them. I'm asking you. What does Mute Math sound like?
Oh, shit. They got a modern sound, but they're throwing some guitars in there. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know, fucking.
Is it like 25 guys on stage like the Revivalists?
No. It's actually like 2 or 3 dudes. It's not a lot of people in the band. Yeah. In New Orleans. And again, they do a lot of great, they're producing other guys now and they're doing other shit, but yeah, Mute Math, Blood Pressure. Check it out. That's your homework assignment. You're going to dig the song.
Oh, okay.
That's at number 5. Number 4. Wow. Another New Orleans band. I really kind of did it up tonight, man. Better Than Ezra. Great song called In the Blood. That's kind of nothing to do, I don't think, with blood, but that's the name of the song, In the Blood, from their deluxe album. Just a great song. It was a hit, big hit for them. Good was first. In the Blood was their second single. 96 that came out or so. So Better Than Ezra at number 4.
It's better than Good. Good was a much bigger hit for them, but In the Blood's a better song. Totally. It's a way better song.
Yep, by a mile.
Good was super catchy, and that's what got them out of the gate, and that's what that's what was, butter in their bread. But man, that was a really strong follow-up single.
Yeah, great song. In the Blood, Better Than Ezra. That was number 4. Very good. Number 3, Concrete Blonde, Bloodletting, the vampire song.
Nice.
Now, let me give some context. Okay, we did talk about this, and I can't remember if it was stripper songs or what it was, but you brought it up. And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. You'd hear that at like all the dirty bars in New Orleans back in the day you couldn't go into a bar in New Orleans without hearing that song somewhere. At least once a night you'd hear it at all the shitty bars we used to hang out at, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, that's right. And they do guy and they talk about New Orleans. So we do a 90s feature on Fridays here at the station in New Orleans, and I play that song every other week after 7 p.m., dude. I don't play it in the middle of fucking noon. I'm playing that song on the radio because of this podcast. I started playing again, occasionally at night. But you know what? It fucking sounds great on the radio, dude. It just sounds great. Is anyone else in the country playing it? Probably not. Should I be playing it? Probably not.
I'm gonna probably butcher her last name, but Jonette Napolitano.
Yeah, Napolitano, something like that. Yeah, it's in there.
So sexy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable voice. Their biggest hit, not their best song, but their biggest hit was Joey.
Yep.
And it had a very pop sound to it. Maybe their best song is Heal It Up, which she just wails on that song. Jonette, I believe she lived in New Orleans for a while. So she definitely got like some local influence. I believe she did live there for a period of time. Man, she was awesome. She was a fucking force, man. Her vocals, it was how we look at Amy Lee of Evanescence. Like she had a voice on her like that.
Right. Power. Yeah. Well, you know, when you listen to that song, it's vampires. That's New Orleans. New Orleans. That's New Orleans. So you can see the influence there. That was 3. Oh shit. I'm going to renumber this now.
Come on.
I don't want to be obvious.
Shit.
Fuck. You know what? Number 2, Elton John. Okay. This is a stretch. Funeral for a Friend. Love Lies Bleeding. It's like a fucking 10-minute song off of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and it's awesome. You want epic, not a hit, but a great freaking workout song.
Okay, yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yellow Brick Road's an amazing album.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome. Love Lies Bleeding.
I totally forgot about that song. That's a great tune.
Yeah, that's my number 2. And again, that's not one I've probably listened to in a couple of years, but I'm going to listen to it now this weekend. Number 1, U2, Sunday Bloody Sunday from War. It's a great fucking song, great message, great everything. Love it. I probably shouldn't have been my number 1, but I went with it. Who's not on my list? I couldn't put Foreigner's Hot Blooded because Jesus, really? Can't listen to that song anymore.
No.
Alice Cooper, Only Women Bleed.
Dude, I love that song.
I know, it's great.
I absolutely love that song because you know what? I never really felt that Alice Cooper was a great singer. He's not. Okay, let's just say Alice Cooper is not a great singer, but he actually sings on that song, and he shows that he can sing.
Yep.
That's a great song. I had that. My bubbling under songs were Better Than Ezra in the Blood, Only Women Bleed, and The Lowest of the Low. I have been dying to bring up Lowest of the Low. I wanted them on my list so bad. Bleed a Little While Tonight off of Shakespeare My Butt. Might be the first song on the album. Lowest of the Low. I'm going to say it again. Lowest of the Low. Because I've never said it on this podcast before. And I finally had an opportunity. And fuck, for fuck's sake, I couldn't fit it in my 5.
Oh, what?
No way. I just couldn't. I wanted them in there so bad, and it just would not have been pure.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been pure. It wouldn't have been right. What else was bubbling under?
Stones, Let It Bleed. Great fucking song. I don't know how that one didn't make it. That one probably should have made it, but I'm like, you know what? I don't need to put the Stones on another list. I think they've earned their deal. They're good. We got it. We got it. Yeah, no, this is great, man. I love the idea of this. You know what? It brings me back to, did we ever do a top 5 Linkin Park? We're going to have to look at our list. Linkin Park, have we done a top 5 Linkin Park? We must have, right?
We must have done a top 5 Linkin Park.
God, because I can't remember it at all.
We must have.
Yeah, good.
There's Bleeding Me by Metallica.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Smithereens, Blood and Roses is one of my favorite Smithereens songs.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Chili Peppers, just to give them a mention.
Sure.
And I don't remember this song being on the radio. I don't remember it at all. It wasn't until I got into Pete Townsend for a little while and just picked up his greatest hits. and he does a song on there called "Give Blood," and it's really good. It's weird. It's called "Give Blood," and I don't know. It's a great song. You really feel like you need to go and give blood when you're done.
Well, it worked because that's what we're doing this for.
Blue October, Bleed Out, dude. If I'm going to go and listen to Mute Math, Blood Pressure, you have to go listen to Blue October, Bleed Out.
All right, I will. And you know what I'll do? I'll text you and I'll go, yeah, it's great, or vice versa. I'm sure it'll be good because I love Blue October. So, dude, I wanted to go through this, and I found this today. It's from loudwire.com. The most pretentious things rock stars have said. And I just want to throw it out there just because we know that rock stars will say some dumb shit, right? But a lot of it gets taken out of context, and, but when I say who these guys are, you're going to go, well, yeah, of course, this is totally that guy, right? Most pretentious things rock stars have said over the years. Bono should have a laundry list of pretentious things he said. But you know what? I think he comes from a place of, I think he has fun with a lot of the shit that he says because he's taking the piss out of himself because he knows he's a fucking rich rock star. You know what I mean? He quote, I'm
curious what the quote is from him.
Well, there was a bunch I could have chosen from, but this one's pretty good. He says, I put Catholic guilt to work pretty good for a rich rock star. Bono being from Ireland, Catholic guilt, rich rock star. I thought it was pretty funny, but people look at that as a little pretentious. Noel Gallagher from Oasis. I mean, again, this could be a whole fucking book. He's and actually, when you think about this, I want to hear what you think about his quote because it's pretty good. Obviously, they've been compared to the Beatles, not compared to the Beatles, ripping off the Beatles. You know what I mean? A Beatles sound-alike band over the years, obviously.
Yes.
Right? Noel Gallagher from Oasis says, with every song that I write, I compare it to the Beatles. And he says, I've got semi-close once or twice. He says, Live Forever, I suppose. Maybe Don't Look Back in Anger. One of those songs. He says, I got semi-close to the Beatles with those songs. The thing is, they only got there before me. If I'd been born at the same time as John Lennon, I'd have been up there. Wow, dude. Like, I was with him up until that part. Like, yeah, maybe he did get close to a really good Beatles-esque song. Live Forever's great. Don't Look Back in Anger. He's close. And that was okay with that part of it.
But saying that if he was in a time machine and if he back there, he was in his time. Yeah, that's a little bit bullshit.
Because he was influenced by John Lennon.
Of course he was. And John Lennon probably has the most pretentious quote of all time, right?
Oh,
I mean, is this thing 1 through 10, 1 through 20? I mean,
no. I picked a couple just interesting ones I thought were pretty cool. Yeah, the whole one about
John Lennon famously said that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus.
Right.
Which at the time, context, here's what I meant. Here's what it meant. Whatever. 1966, man. Let me tell you, people that hit people wrong. That hit people. I mean, Kanye probably did say it for all I know, but
yeah.
That was probably the most pretentious out there rock star quote of all time.
And what's funny is because when he said it, he was kind of right. Because they were super popular and stuff. I mean, at the time.
Look at where they were in 66. That the way that the world was infatuated with them.
Right.
I bet you from their seats, it looked like people were more infatuated with them than Jesus. So
yeah,
he wasn't wrong, but man, what a hell of a thing to say.
Yeah, that got him in huge trouble. Pete Townsend from The Who. This is Pete Townsend saying, quote, even as age humbles me, it feeds my arrogance. There's still nothing that interests me as much as myself.
Wow.
Which, you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, really, couldn't we all say that in a way about ourselves? I mean, deep down, you know what I mean? Like, okay. And he is Pete Townsend. He's done some pretty cool shit. So, he's kind of being honest in a way.
I just used a William Corgan line this week on the radio.
Wow.
Is he on here, Billy Corgan?
I did not put any of his shit on here. No.
So I'm going to paraphrase. He said that back in his time, he said Kurt was the best. He said Kurt was the most talented. He brought up John Lennon when he talked about Kurt Cobain. And he said, after Kurt, I blew everybody away. Now, I mean, Billy Corgan is wickedly talented, and he's an amazing songwriter. You know, his singing is an acquired taste,
Right.
but it works for what he does. But think about after Kurt left, did you ever think now it's Billy? Did you?
No.
I mean, did you ever think that? I mean,
No.
I mean, I looked at so many bands as being equal and so many bands at being at the same level as one another. There's no doubt that Kurt was definitely the poster child. But Billy Corgan said that after he died, I blew everybody away. It's weird hearing him say that.
Yeah, that's not something you should be. That's what you let listeners say. That's for everyone else to talk about. You know what I mean? That's not for you to talk about. But I remember hearing part of that quote before, and maybe in a different interview, where he was like, look, I would hear Nirvana come out with some great shit. I'm like, oh, fuck. I better really go do some really great shit. I want to write. He said it was almost like the whole iron sharpens iron thing. You know, it wasn't a competition, but he kind of viewed it as that at times. And, you know, if he thought that in the moment, that would be weird. Looking back, maybe he could say something like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, if you look back at it historically, you know, when did Kurt die? Was it 94? I should know this. Yeah, it was 94. Well, what comes out in 95 was Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness of Smashing Pumpkins Blow Up. So if you look at it from a statistical standpoint, what came out, I guess you wouldn't be wrong in that moment. But that is a lot to say. That's a lot to say, dude. Lars.
So, Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan says he lost his greatest opponent when Kurt Cobain died. I want to beat the best. I don't want to win the championship because it's just me and a bunch of jabronis.
Actually, you know what? I don't think that comes from a place of him trying to be a dick. I think in his mind at the time, that's what was happening. Like I just talked about, you know, he looked at it as a competition in a way. And you don't want to ever win because the other team forfeits, because that sucks. Your trophy is tainted. It's not the same. You know, I can see what he's doing there. It does sound like a dick thing to say, though.
But does he blow everybody away? I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of good music that came out after that. You know, the mid 90s, late 90s, great shit. I mean, Green Day wasn't exactly putting out nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a laundry list. Anyway, Lars from Metallica.
Oh,
he
boy.
said some shit over the years, but this one, I'm going to say it, and then I want to talk about it. Lars from Metallica says, quote, every time we put a record out, we lose people that can't deal with the growth. I'm not mad at that.
I'm totally fine with that.
Because you know what? You can't just keep putting out the Black Album over and over again. And people, oh, you guys sold out, man. Yeah. You know, the whole Metallica thing, it's like people get pissed off. They've changed as musicians over the years. They stay in their lane basically, but their songs have changed. Their style has changed. You grow, you learn, right? I mean, I don't mind that one.
We do a lot of world premieres on the morning show.
Mm-hmm.
When these new songs come out, and it's weird. You put on a song, and if the band sounds true to what they've done, Foo Fighters really sounds like the Foo Fighters. It's good. People are really connecting with the lyrics, you know. You know, some people are like, man, it's just, you know, boy, he's got that formula. I'm like, man, that's kind of what works for them, though. And then if he was to put out something different, like 30 Seconds to Mars, 30 Seconds to Mars, Jared obviously put out something that sounded different.
Yep.
And it did not get the reception, you know. People want Kings and Queens or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for a band. I talk about that in interviews from time to time. I think I mentioned that to the guys in think I mentioned that to the guys in Highly Suspect. I said, my compliment for you is I feel that with each album that you guys are putting out, you're drawing just enough from what you have already done. And there's growth there. And I said, I think you guys maybe have the best balance I've heard over a 4 or 5 album span. You can always tell, obviously you're going to recognize Johnny's voice and stuff, but I feel they have some sort of a formula where it's like, okay, start with our first album. Next album, we're going to lose 10% and we're going to add a new 10% sound. And then the next album, we're going to add another 10, lose a 10, add a 10. Well, now you're 20% different from the first album.
Right.
They have come up with this formula, and I think they've done it better than anybody over the span of the last maybe 8 years.
Well, look what happened to the hair metal. They kept making the same album.
Yes.
They kept making the same albums over because that was the cash cow. Oh, wow, we fucking made money. Okay, the next album will have a heavy song. It'll have a cheesy ballad, and we'll put the same fucking album out over and over again. And that's what really helped kill a lot of the hair bands, in the day. They're making the same shit over and over again. It's hard to do because you want to stay true and you want to keep your fan base, but then, you always want to do different shit as a band. The 30 Seconds to Mars song, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I applaud them for doing something different. Playing it? Yeah, we're playing it a little bit. Yeah, not a lot. We're playing it. It's okay. It's not going to be a monster, but it's doing okay on the charts and everything. I'm hoping for something a little more, traditional 30 Seconds to Mars. It's tough because you want to see a band change, but then you don't want them to go too far. You know what I mean? As a fan, like the Foo Fighters. Yes, as soon as you start playing those new songs, I'm like, oh, well, shit, that's the Foo Fighters. But it's still good, and it's got a fresh sound to it. But when I want them to make the song The Teacher, which is 10 minutes long, and it's like a Pink Floyd song, goes all over the damn place. Do I want that from the Foo Fighters every time? No. But it was cool to hear it as an album cut. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. They did something different. I like it.
Remember when they released Run?
Yeah, loved it.
I mean, and there was times when it was heavy, and Dave was doing his best Pantera in that song,
But then it got real melodic,
And that was different, but it was a journey,
Mm-hmm.
But that song just wasn't a radio song, but it was a great song. It was the first release, They were showing, hey, we can do other things too. It's difficult for a band. So when Lars says that, I don't mind that quote at all. And I was so happy when Lux Eterna came out. I said it. That was the most excited I've been about Metallica in 30 years.
Easily. Yeah. Because it's
when I heard that song.
Okay. Great. It's Metallica. 2 more. Boy, I think you already know how this one's going to go. Gene Simmons.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Everything he says is dumb, it seems like. God, he's such a douche.
It's not dumb. He's intelligent, but it's just he's so, there's nobody up their ass more than Gene Simmons.
And here's the quote. Gene Simmons says, quote, I am fascinated with myself and love hearing the sound of my own voice. I'd like to hear what I have to say. A lot of people don't like being alone because they truly don't like themselves, but I love me. And there you go. That's Gene Simmons.
He's giving people what they want to hear.
Yes, he is a formula guy. He knows where the bread is buttered.
Yeah, he knows that he knows how to get a quote out there for sure.
What's tough with with Kiss and with Gene and Paul is that you really would like them to sit down if you're going to do an interview with either one of them, you got an hour. You'd almost want to go, okay, guys, look. Don't give me all your bullshit answers that you're going to
they'll never do that. They'll never do it.
But let me just talk to you like a human being and strip off. When you took your mask, your makeup off and you went out there raw? Let's do that with talking now. Okay, guys, let's just talk. I want to really hear what you want to say. Don't give me
Stern got as close as anybody ever has to an interview like that. The one that you're talking about, Stern came close, but they still gave their fucking canned answers and stuff, Well, we're here. We do it for the fans, and we got to do it for the fans. I know they love their fans. I got it. There's nobody's ever going to question Paul that you don't love your fans. But if you go back and listen to the Stern interview, he got some stuff out of them because he's got the platform to do it.
Sure. Sure. And he's built up the trust over the years, so people feel a little safer talking to him about deeper shit. All right. And one more, and then I'm done. This one's actually really cool. Jim Morrison of the Doors said, quote, I see myself as a huge, fiery comet, a shooting star. Everyone stops, points up, and gasps. Oh, look at that. Then whoosh, and I'm gone. And they will never see anything like it ever again, and they won't be able to forget me ever. Fuck. I mean, that's a little pretentious and a douche thing to say.
He also screamed out that he was the Lizard King. What the fuck does that mean?
They can't all be winners. They can't all be winners. You know what I mean?
What was he on when he said that?
Everything.
See, see, you can almost immediately, oh, Jim Morrison said that? Okay, well, fuck. Any number of drugs or alcohol was in his system when he said that.
Absolutely.
The thing about fucking Gene Simmons, he was stone fucking cold sober when he made that line.
Yeah, that's true.
When he
that
said
makes
that
it worse.
line. He didn't have anything. He had fucking apple juice. Old man had apple juice running through his veins when he said that.
Apple juice and Krispy Kremes just flowing through that body, right? Yeah.
Okay, no, I mean, right after a shot of Metamucil, he's like, all right, roll tape. I got some lines for you.
He might have just climbed the stairs, so he's a little lightheaded. You know what I mean? Yeah, you expect, but you know what? Jim Morrison's quote, yes, he was probably fucked up, but he's kind of right. You know, you think about how his legend still goes on after all that time. I mean, it's a weird thing to say about yourself. You know what I mean? But I guess he saw it. I don't know. Those are just some weird quotes from rock stars.
I like it.
Any final thoughts, Rod?
Yeah. This week, I got Hulu.
Okay.
I'm paying more money. I'm paying more fucking money for cable, but I'm getting rid of Apple TV, which I haven't done yet, but I have to. I just can't make sense of it in my mind to get all these streaming services. So I feel like I'm maxed out. So one's going out, Hulu's in, and because I worked so long in the kitchen, I wanted to see that show, The Bear. But I watched the Jelly Roll documentary.
Right.
Holy fuck. I cried 3 times, maybe 4 times during it.
Jesus.
It's so great. And you might be saying, well, is he ready for a documentary? Yeah, he is. Really? He's absolutely ready. Don't know what you know about him. There's no spoilers, but you know, most people that know Jelly Roll, they knew that he was in and out of institutions. He's done jail time. He did hard drugs. You know who he is with the tattoos on the face?
Yeah. He's made some bad tattoo choices. Yeah.
Real big, heavy guy, you know? He's so unbelievable. Justin from Blue October is a little like this. Think about this. Justin's been clean and sober for I don't know how many years, and he really preaches it. So he's got to listen to people everywhere he goes talk about, I'm clean and sober. You know, and he's got to talk to him. And I'm not saying that he doesn't genuinely enjoy it, because he really does. He's just this unbelievable positive guy. Jelly Roll has to deal with people. Hey, this girl, her dad killed mom in front of her. They're telling Jelly Roll this story, and your music saved her life, and blah, blah. He's got to listen to that everywhere he goes, dude.
Woof.
Because he champions mental health and he champions sobriety, even though he smokes and drinks, but he was doing hard drugs before. And, you know, he lost his mom to mental illness, and he sings about these things, and his fucking lyrics are resonating with people. And the song Save Me is the one that got him, you know, the YouTube hits, you know, the 200 million, 300 million hits. It's great, dude. It's unbelievable. And just a hardworking guy, been at it for a long time. And it was so inspirational. So inspirational. I'm nerdy about documentaries, but give this Jelly Roll. You don't have to even enjoy his music. But man, I cannot see you watching this thing and not coming away a fan.
Damn. Yeah, I keep seeing his shit pop up. I listened to a couple of songs. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to play these on the station. But I'm fascinated because I keep seeing he's out there. He's one of these people that are just out there all the time. And I'm like, I got to take a minute and dive into what this dude's doing. So now I will.
Now, I mean, Shinedown took him out on tour.
Makes sense because Brent's a huge recovery dude as well from Shine.
Well, let me tell you, Jelly Roll fucking is opening for nobody right now. Okay, Jelly Roll, boom, it's meteoric how quickly he has risen. He's playing the arenas now. They're his arenas.
Shit.
Yeah, and Shinedown can't play an arena.
No.
But Jelly Roll can play an arena now.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out.
It's crazy, man. I can't recommend a better documentary right now. Jason, final thoughts.
Nothing really, man. I'm just it's summertime. It's hot as balls out here in the South, man. You know what? It's weird. Like New Orleans hasn't been hot. Like it's been hot, don't get me wrong, but it hasn't had that bam switch turned on where it's like 110-degree heat index. Yeah, we just got it this week. And oof, you forget. You forget. And look, I'm not going to cry about it too hard because I work indoors. You know what I mean? But I spend time outside a lot, running and all that shit. And oof, you just reminded how fucking hot it gets in the South, dude.
Are you still running?
I took a little time off just because I got busy with radio and podcasts and pirates and all that bullshit. But yeah, I'm back doing it now again. And god damn, don't ever stop exercising and then restart because it's the worst.
Because obviously you're going early in the morning now. Because Jason's 100% right. It just this week it just fucking slapped you in the dick. It feels like 100 degrees out.
Yeah,
96. I mean, it's here in Houston. It's 96, 97.
Yep.
To be 98, 99 coming up a couple days.
Yeah. You just don't. Like my son runs now, and he's all like gearing up for high school. Man, he's gonna play some fucking high school soccer. He's gonna join the track team, so he's trying to get in shape. He comes back the other day after it was like the first time, and he's been running for a while, so he's in decent shape. But like the heat hit him. He comes back and he's like standing there looking at me like you can tell there's nobody home behind those eyes, man. I'm like, you fucking ran and you didn't drink enough. I'm like, sit down. Here's some ice. Fucking, it's like nosebleed and everything else. I'm like, dude, you gotta fucking be careful out there, bro. And then we went and watched, Reservoir Dogs. So Dad of the Year. Dad of the Year. I will not be getting that trophy again this year. It's been a lot of years not getting that trophy, dude, but maybe next year, maybe next year.
Let me do a quick plug for our actual sponsor of the show. Next time you're in New Orleans, man, book a pirate tour, French Quarter walking tour like no other, man. Discover real pirate history of New Orleans. Book your tour, piratesofthequarter.com. Jason just did a great plug for me and my t-shirts. They have a shop page now, piratesofthequarter.com, man. If you're into pirates, just go check their gear out, man. They've got great stuff over there. Kick-ass t-shirts for sale. Even if you can't get into town just yet, man, get your pirate gear online. Make sure you're following them on all the socials at Pirates of the Quarter. But everything and booking your tour when you come into town, everything is at piratesofthequarter.com.
And look, it is hot here. I will not pull any punches on that. So you're going to sweat on the tour, but we do offer a morning tour, 10 a.m. It ain't bad out there. Get yourself a coffee, maybe a real drink, Bloody Mary. Boom, join the tour. It's great. You'll have a blast. That's all I got, dude. I'm done. I'm out. Maybe we can get you some real fucking gear for next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
In between having your testosterone drained, which, by the way, is probably why you cried for the Jelly Roll thing. Maybe you want to not take out so much. Go and get yourself a new board.
I want to put money on this, but you have to be honest, or I'll make your wife monitor you the whole time. You cannot watch the Jelly Roll documentary and not shed one tear.
Oh, dude, I will tell you straight up. I'm like a little baby. The older I get, dude, I will cry at anything now, man. I'm crying during superhero movies. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, what the fuck happened to me? I don't know. Somehow I got in touch with the feelings. Maybe my testosterone's being drained out of me. I don't even know it.
I want to know when you're watching this. I will call your wife and I want updates. I want to know how many times you cried, not just once, not twice. I want to know how many times you cried during this documentary.
All right. I'll tell you straight up, dude. What am I going to fucking lie?
I mean, you're sitting there and you're just like, oh God. I mean, God damn.
Like, it's funny because, like, people are like, well, you got to be honest. I'm like, why wouldn't I be at this point? I don't care anymore. What am I going to do? Lie to you? What's in the game? I'm not going to lie. Yeah, dude, I bawled like a little bitch. Okay. So what? Oh, I got feelings? Oh, no.
Tessa said she cried less than me, so she did call me a little bit of a bitch. But the one email I'll share in closing, just because I know he listens to the pod, and I already mentioned him, but Mark Petricelli. Here's a text that came in at 8:36 p.m. All right, you jag off. Watching the Jelly Roll doc. Someone's cutting onions over here. When you get called a jag off from a Pittsburgh guy, it's coming from a deep, deep place of love.
No, that is a term of endearment amongst friends. You know, you look at our text and you'd think we fucking hated each other.
Fucking jag off.
We hated each other, but you know what? It's all terms of endearment, man. That's what it's all about. Check us out on our social medias at PlayPantsPod. YouTube, smash the subscribe button. Leave your comments. What are your top 5 favorite Blood songs? Maybe you got better ones than us. Probably not. And then we'll do another episode. Episode 90 coming up.
Jeez.
Holy shit.
I got to get good equipment for that.
Please do. It'd be way better. All right, thanks,
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Let's go. It's time. Put on the pants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at PlayPantsPod.